Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing another disc repair resurfacing video, trying to fix these scratched Xbox 360 games. I did a similar video and it got a lot of responses, so I figured to make another one. My last video I only used this buffing pad and I was able to fix a lot of my games, but I wasn't able to fix these three. So we're going to try some actual sanding today. So all of this stuff I'm going to be using, or most of it at least, I got out of this 3M headlight restoration kit that I used to buff up my headlights and make them look like new. And it worked pretty well on my headlights, but essentially the kit came with a bunch of different sanding pads, and we're going to go ahead and use those today. It also comes with this drill attachment, so you put the sanding pads on this, and then you run the drill, use it to basically like sand or buff up the headlights or the games. So we have a 500 grit pad here that we'll start off with. Then we'll go up to the 800 grit pad. Then we'll go to the 3000 grit, kind of more of a buffing soft pad. And I think what I'll do is I'll use the polishing, that's when I'll start using the polishing compound. So this didn't come with the headlight restoration kit. This is the JFJ polishing compound. JFJ makes like I think it's even a $5,000 and a $20,000 disc resurfacing machine. But this is what I used with the polishing pad last time. So I'll use basically these two polishing pads instead of just the one with the polishing compound. And I think last time I used number one first and then number two. But I think you're supposed to use number two first and then number one. Is what it says on the back of this bottle. So we'll use number two, then number one, and then we'll test out the games and see if they work. So let's get started on this Call of Duty disc right here. I'm going to go ahead and put the 500 grit pad on. And as you can see, this disc, here's the before. So all three of these discs are heavily scratched, but in maybe slightly different ways. So it'll be interesting to see if like all three of them can work or if just one of them works. But this Call of Duty 4 basically has like this. It almost looks like a residue, but it doesn't wash off. So like it almost looks like it's worn down to a new layer. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get this game fixed. And then the Madden 25 probably has the least amount of damage, even though it's got pretty significant scratches all over it. So this one I'd be the most hopeful about. And then the Connect Sports Season 2 has probably the deepest scratches. Right here, it's a very deep scratch. So that'll be interesting to see if we can get this one to work. But I wouldn't be surprised if we weren't able to fix all of them. So let's start off. We'll do the Call of Duty one. I'll go through the full phase, and then I'll put you guys on a time lapse while I do the other two, and then we'll test them out. So let's get started. I got the 500 grit paper attached. I already washed all these with soap and water. So essentially, we'll just go and run it kind of like this. I did bring some gloves, so I should probably just put those on. Good even amount of pressure. Look at this side here. All right. Let's see. Looks like maybe I missed just a slight spot, kind of right here. So you can see here kind of what it looks like afterwards. So it looks very dull. You can definitely tell that this was sanded on. So let's take that off. We'll switch over to our 800 grit. Now we'll try this 800 grit out here. So now we're kind of done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse this off and then start with the polishing, these two polishing pads in the back here, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end. So I'm getting ready to do polishing compound number 2. And I'm going to use the 3000 grit. It's real like, it may be sandpaper, but it's more of a kind of softer. Here's what the disc looks like. It's very dull. So I'm hoping it'll get shiny again after I use, but it's very smooth when you touch it, but hopefully it'll get shiny again after I use this white compound on there. So again, I'll put my gloves back on. Kind of get this disc on the surface here. Yeah, that shirt just isn't working out for me. I'll go ahead and put this kind of white canvas down here. We'll try again. It does already appear to be shining up a little bit. So the disc is starting to look shinier. It's looking way better. So if this works, I'll be pretty impressed. So let me go ahead and take this pad off. I'll put on our big fat polishing pad. We'll put on polishing compound number 2, or number 1, excuse me. Again, it's on the back of the bottle, so if you get confused like I do, just read the back of the bottle before you use it. I'm going to use a little bit extra here, basically in an effort to really get this as shiny as possible. So this disc is looking pretty awesome. Very shiny. I want to clean this up, and then we're going to try it out, and then if it works, I'll do the other 2 discs. So the Call of Duty 4 was a complete failure. The disc itself looks a lot better, even though you can tell it's been sanded or resurfaced. So I think the 500 grit may have just been too much. So we may try and go back over this with the 800 grit. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm going to do the Connect Sports, and I think I'm just going to be a lot more conservative. I'm going to do the 3000 grit and then switch over just to the polishing pad. In both steps, I'm going to use the polishing compound. So we'll put just a little bit of this on there. Put my gloves back on. Take off our polishing pad. So we got the 3000 grit pad on there. Again, we'll try and keep this under control. Flip it around. One more pass through on the other side. Let's take a look at it. It's looking better. Still has those really deep scratches on there, but a lot of the smaller ones have been worked out. So let's do our polishing pad. If I can get it off, let's see. Again, number 1, which you do second, used after polishing compound number 2. Some people put a little piece of tape in the middle, but again, I just clean these off with water afterwards, so it doesn't really matter. So again, I made the mistake there of just, again, you just want to pause when you switch. Rotate the disc. Get that one spot one more time. So I'm going to clean this disc up and see if I can get it to work, and I will get back with you guys. Alright guys, so much success. I was able to get this game to work. So after I cleaned it up, you can still see there's a lot of scratches on it, but it does look a little bit better, shinier. The scratches don't look as deep. Some of the smaller scratches are gone. So just doing the 3000 grit pad with the compound was enough to get it to work. So this time we'll try the same kind of technique with the Madden 25 disc. See if we can get it to work. As you can see, there's a lot of like smaller scratches on this one. There's a few deeper scratches, so I'm the most hopeful that this one is going to work out of all of the ones we did. So I'll put number 2 on there. Put my glove back on. And rotate it. Rotate one more time. Now we will switch over to compound number 1 and a slightly different pad. So we'll just start off with the one side here. Rotate it. guess I'll clean this up and we'll see if it works. Okay guys, so another failure. I was unable to get this disc to work. So the disc looked pretty good after I ran through it with the buffing pad. I also did the 3000 grit paper, which feels a lot like a buffing pad. And I put it in the game system. It did play for a little bit. I got a couple plays of Madden before it said the disc wasn't readable. So then I took it back. I did the 800 grit. And now there's no like scratches, but you still get this like kind of haze on there, as you can kind of see from the camera angle. And then I went back with the 3000, the buffing pad, tried again, and now the disc isn't readable at all. So I think that this 800 grit paper, P800, is just too aggressive. You probably don't want to go below 1000 or maybe even 2000 grit paper. So that's what we learned today, guys. I appreciate you watching. We did get this Connect Sports game. I think if you're doing this, I would use the buffing pad and the 3000 grit if you're trying to do it with this 3M Headlight restoration kit. And this one, you can still see all the scratches. It doesn't look very good, but it did play for me. I was able to play it for several minutes without it crashing. So that's what we learned today, guys. Again, thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time.